Welcome back to the Rick Wyman Show. Here we are, new month. People are talking about, well, games in Milano, Italy, and what have you. And again, some really great competition coming up over the course of the next 2 weeks. But you know what? We've got something that we want to talk about today based on a recent announcement by a Sudbury City Councillor, Bill Leduc, who joins us this week to talk about his candidacy to run for mayor this fall. Bill, thanks for taking the time to join me this morning. A lot of people buzzing about your big decision last week. How do you feel?
I feel good. I've got a lot of support. I've heard from a lot of people around the community. They're supporting me on my stance here. This is an opportunity now for the public to have the referendum vote that I tried tabling at council earlier this year, was unsuccessful. So now it's the opportunity of the public to get out there and vote, whether or not they want an arena downtown or not.
Okay, so you allude to that referendum as the vote for the new arena, and that is the talk of the town right now because a lot of people are saying, okay, we have an existing building built in the early 50s, and a lot of people have been clamoring for some kind of newer facility. And of course, we've gone through everything and anything. And, you know, what I want to focus in on, Bill, is your decision to bring that to the forefront. And I think the referendum idea is going to be on the minds of a lot of people before they head to the polls this coming fall. So when did all this come about? I mean, did you have consultation with several key individuals in terms of being able to formulate your strategy, and which ultimately led to your decision to take it to the people, take it to the public later on this fall? How did all of this come about? Why the referendum vote? I mean, you mentioned it before in council, but obviously there had to be a surge. There had to be this push, not only from you, but from others to bring this to the forefront.
Absolutely. I mean, talking with family and friends and other people in the community, they've always sat there and said, how do we get our voice there? And I said, you'll do it at election time. So now, like I say, it's their opportunity to get out there and vote. If they want that arena downtown, then the vote would be for Mayor Lefebvre. If they don't want that arena downtown, the vote would be then for Bill Leduc.
What are people telling you right now? Is it just a matter of cost? I mean, you must be getting it from both sides.
And again, you know, everybody's sitting there saying it's cost, we can't afford it, wrong location. So, you know what? We've got to listen to the people. I've always said no to the arena downtown. I haven't wavered from my stance. I think we've got to spend the money on our roads. That's the most important topic in our city at this point in time, along with the homeless. You know, we've got people sleeping outside in tents. Electing me as mayor, nobody will sleep out in the cold again. And that will happen in November. Our first council meeting will be in November, and all these items will be on the agenda right away.
That's certainly a heavy load to carry between now and the fall. And the thing is, how do you hope to sustain that momentum? Because here we are in the early days of February. We're not going to the polls until later on. That's a long time. Or do you have a projected battle plan ready to take the streets, shake hands, kiss babies, and beat people? Is that what you want to do, and you want to up the ante between now and Election Day?
Absolutely. I mean, right now you can't spend any money. All you can do is get out there and talk to the community, which I will be doing. I'll be out having coffee with residents. They'll be able to reach out to me. I've got my personal email, which is billyleduc@hotmail.com, or you can reach me on my personal phone, which is 249-878-5808. And people have already started reaching out to me, and we've been having these conversations. So it looks like I've got a lot of good support, and we'll keep that moving as we go forward.
Bill, has there been anything negative since your decision to go public with this? Like, Bill, you can't be doing this. You don't know what you're talking about. You know the usual. We do have naysayers in and around Greater Sudbury, and I'm sure your phone lines must be busy, really busy these days, and buzzing with both pro and con. So we know that the pro people, what they want a reduction in taxes, and the thing is, they just don't want the arena built. But what are the naysayers telling you?
And again, Rick, everybody's got naysayers. They're just a small group that really doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, it's the public, the taxpayer that is going to vote me in. Now, I do know that there's been two comments out there by two other councillors regarding the 1.5 special capital levy. That money there currently isn't being spent on the arena. Absolutely, it's not. We went out and borrowed $60 million, about $90 million. We've got about $60 million left in that pot. And then we're looking at borrowing another $135 million, which comes up to the $225 million for the arena. Once the arena would be built, then that special capital levy would be used to repay the payment on that, which would be about $12 million a year. So that $12 million, I want to make sure we're putting all the money into our roads, our local roads, our arterial and collector roads. We've been spending money in them quite a bit, but now we've got to get into the local roads and get that going. We have to spend the money on our homeless. We've got to create some form of housing, whether it's shipping containers converted, whether it's construction trailers, whether it's tiny homes, but we have to do something for the homeless. So these are the key points that I'm running on, and this is what I've heard around the city, that we've been failing our homeless. So this is what we need to do.
Okay, so have you come across the Mayor Lefebvre? Have you come across any councillors have said, not so fast there, Bill, not so fast. We've got a plan to correct everything, as most politicians would like to say. So I'm kind of interested in hearing what they've told you, if you've had a chance to come across, especially Paul Lefebvre. He's the incumbent.
Yes. You know what? I did bring a motion earlier this year for the tiny homes. And again, it was defeated. We could have put up these tiny homes and housed quite a few people, so that way there, nobody's sleeping out the cold. So we have to do something now. And it's being pushed back at City Hall from the other councillors. There's a motion that Mr. Perrant tabled a while back, ending homelessness in 2030. But all these motions that they're coming forward with are depending on upper levels of government to get the money. We can't wait for upper levels of government. We have to act now. We have to move forward. We have to create this housing for the most vulnerable people in the city. We have to deal with it.
Bill, I really want to ask you a difficult question here, and I know that you're very sensitive to both topics between the arena and the homeless situation, but do you think that in the minds of many taxpayers, naysayers, and people who like the idea of a new arena, that perhaps the homeless situation is not going to be nearly as important to people as the need for a new arena? How do you feel about that?
And again, the people have an opportunity to vote. If they want an arena, they'll be voting for Mayor Lefebvre. If they don't want the arena, they're going to be voting for Bill Leduc. Okay. And then we will cancel the downtown arena completely.
Okay, so which leaves us with my next question, Bill. I just love the way how this is all beginning to transition one question into the next. Then you're going to be left with an aging structure downtown that's going to need anywhere from, what did we hear before, engineering consultants report, 50, 60, at least a minimum $30 million to possibly $50 or $60 million to renovate and keep that arena alive. And I've got a couple of other dandy segments to get into as well, dealing with that problem. So where do we get the money for that?
Well, and again, we already have the money. We have $60 million sitting in an account. So we don't have to go borrow any extra money to accomplish what we have. So we have to just use that money wisely. And you got to remember, back in 2022, when we got the cost estimate for the new arena of $215 million, I tabled a motion to build a brand new arena event center for $150 million, which can be done.
Well, Brantford's doing it. Brantford's doing it.
Yeah, Brantford's doing it. But at this point in time, people just don't want that arena downtown. And we have to listen to our residents.
Where did the price, and a lot of people have been asking me this about the cost of the arena, like you had mentioned before several years ago, 150, all of a sudden over 200 million plus, and we still see empty parking lots, no work being done. Time is money. This is all developing over the course of this year and heading into the next 2 years. So all of a sudden we have this upsurge in the cost of the project, and no one has come up with a definitive plan as to how to pay for it. So all of a sudden, where did this extra 50, 60, 70 million dollars come from?
And again, back in 2019, we went out and we borrowed $215 million to do some road work and to build the arena. We then were left with $90 million in that account. Since then, we've spent roughly $20 million on acquiring the property downtown to build a new arena, which leaves us about a balance of approximately $65 million. So right now we have that money sitting in an account, earning money for us, which is helping us reduce the taxes. So we've got money there that we can use for an arena. But right now we would have to go out and borrow for the arena downtown another $135 million, putting us at $225 million for a downtown arena.
So even if the price of a new arena could be brought down, you still wouldn't be satisfied. You want it shelved. You want renovations to the existing structure, and you would be perfectly content with that.
Yes, I would be happy with that. If that's the way that we move forward, would be fine. Right now, we have to concentrate on our aging infrastructure that we have, and our biggest asset are our roads. So we need to put the money back into our roads. And that's where this 1.5 special capital levy comes. We brought it into play back in April of 2023. And as of today, there's $16.5 million. We've spent roughly $6 million out of that on projects such as the fire station revitalization program. We have spent $5 million on roads. And that money there, that 1.5, should we move forward with building the new arena downtown at a cost of roughly $225 million plus, then that 1.5 special capital levy would be used to repay the debt on that.
Seems the price tag of the new arena keeps on going up. At one time it was labeled at perhaps 185, 190, then it jumped to 200. Now you're suggesting $225 million. What would you say to SWSE president, owner Dario Zulich, because he's hell-bent on a new facility?
I apologize, Rick. You cut out there.
Oh, okay. What would you say to the president of the Sudbury Wolves, Dario Zulich, who owns the Sudbury Wolves? He's responsible for the Sudbury Five. Of course, both are housed in the existing arena structure. He likes his sports and he wants a new rink. What would you say to him?
And again, Rick, I understand he wants a new rink. We may not be able to get there. So it's really unfortunate. But at the current moment, we don't even have a lease signed with the Wolves. So our major tenant isn't even signed moving forward to build an arena. And all the reports that were presented to council always identified that you had to have a major tenant sign before even moving forward with the lease or moving forward with a building. So we don't have that at this point in time. Why we don't have that, I'm not sure why. These are the questions that we have to find out. We don't even have a cost estimate at this point in time. We don't have detailed designs on this arena. So, you know what? It's not too late to change direction here. And I think we're sitting in a good position for the public to change direction to stop this arena at this point in time.
Okay, Bill, breaking news. I had a chat with Dario just the other day. He tells me I don't know if you can see, but the finger's in motion here. He's that close to a city deal for the lease agreement, and threw out the figure a couple of $100,000. He said he's very confident he could come to terms, and of course he says they're trying to work things out. His people, the city's people, just in terms of being able to hammer that out. So that's the latest on that. He says they're very close. Told me, he says, Rick, I'm really confident I can get this worked out. So that's step one. Now, I also bring to you a very important consideration, Bill. You'll recall that the Ontario Hockey League is building newer, or at least teams involved in the league, are building new facilities right across the league. Brian Crawford was in Sudbury not too long ago saying to Dario, you need a new facility if you want to be one of the players in the Ontario Hockey League. Any thoughts about maybe being fearful of, well, okay, you can patch up the existing arena, but then the OHL says, that's not good enough. We want a new building for the Sudbury Wolves. We don't like this structure. You've got to do something better. How does that resonate with you in terms of, and I know the roads are a big priority for you, but potentially things could happen. Dario could sell this team to someone else out of town, or else he may be facing a very costly dilemma. So how does that play into your game plan?
And again, the Ontario Hockey League, if they want a new arena, then they can step to the plate and they can potentially pitch money in to help build a new arena.
Well, that's not going to happen, Bill. That's not going to happen.
So I'm not going to be forced to bend over to the Ontario Hockey League. And there's other options out there. Dario Mr. Zulich has done really well the city with providing us with great entertainment. The Sudbury Wolves, the Sudbury Five, the Sudbury Spartans, the soccer team. He's done a great job. I'll say that. Okay, but as far as will we be technically held hostage? No, we won't. I'm sorry.
But you need a major tenant for the facility. That's the first priority, is it not?
Yes. And at this point in time, Mr. Zulich says he's very close to a deal, but there has been no deal, and that this has to be approved at City Council yet. So at this point in time, we don't have a major tenant.
Are you involved in any way in terms of negotiations for this proposed lease arrangement, or do you have any insight at all? No,
and again, I have no dealings with the negotiations of the arena. Mm-hmm. Our staff, I just keep hearing that they're close, okay, but for some reason, we're just not getting over that finish line. And I understand, you build a new arena, you got to bring in a venue manager to operate it. So you got to split those profits three ways now, and it's got to be profitable for everybody. And at this point, from what I'm seeing and potentially hearing, it's not too profitable for Mr. Zulich. That's why he hasn't done it.
Well, it's my understanding that concessions are a big issue. It's my understanding anyways for now, but I'm hopeful that both sides at least could come to some kind of sensible arrangement. Bill, a lot of people asking me about parking. Here we are right now, middle of winter. We've got, as I said, 6 to 8 more weeks of winter. We're stuck with no work being done in the parking lot. And again, people are being ticketed around the city. They're not happy because there's limited parking, and especially on a Friday night when people brave the cold and the snow to come to the arena, they want a place to park. They park illegally, they get ticketed. So in addition to the tickets, the popcorn, the beer, whatever else they buy, they're stuck with a parking ticket. That is a serious problem in this city, and if you don't provide enough parking, people simply won't come. What are you looking at to solve that problem?
And again, Rick, to build a new arena downtown, you're going to have to build a parking structure. Building a parking structure is another $30-40 million. Now, can the private sector do it? Absolutely. The private sector can build a parking structure, but then they're going to want to be subsidized by the municipality. And, then we would have to look, well, are we going to subsidize the private sector to build a parking structure, or are we just going to build it ourselves? And how are we going to get there? So when you start looking at the arena downtown, $225 million plus a parking structure, you're well above the 200 million mark.
And the costs just keep on escalating month by month.
Exactly.
So how do we...
Building the arena downtown isn't going to spur new development.
But Bill, there's a faction downtown that want the facility. They feel it's necessary for their lifeline financially, whether it be bars, restaurants, you name it. We know the usual suspects in this. They feel that without the arena downtown, or even a patched up arena, that it'll be lights out for them down the road. So how do you deal with that?
And again, you know what? We have businesses right across our community that we have to support. And we will make sure that, we are supporting our downtown. Absolutely. Same thing as we have to support the other businesses across our city that have made major investments.
Okay, I'm going to throw a curveball at you. So if someone came along and said, you know what, Bill, you bring up some good points. We have to pitch council on patching up roads. But you know what? If there's a way that a new arena can be built, would you be happy with a new arena at the KED site off the Kingsway in Minnow Lake?
And again, you know what? I'm not going to make any comments on that because at this point in time, the costs for a new arena have ballooned. We may have missed that ship, and we have to just realize that.
Okay. Knowing what you know, knowing what you have to do between now and November, how do you intend to function at council? I mean, you'll deal with the usual priorities, I suspect, because you can do that. You're a man of your word. So how will that working relationship with the rest of council go between now and November?
And again, it'll work fine. We have to respect each other. All I've done is I've announced that I'm running for mayor. I'm giving people choices out there, and we will function respectfully at council.
Bill, this is going to cost you a few bucks. Who's backing you right now, or can you name your backers?
And again, at this point in time, I will not mention anything about that. So,
but it's not going to be cheap because you do have to spend a few dollars.
Yeah.
So what's your next step right now? You're just going to, it's business as usual back at council, dealing with the issues and putting that plan in place. Are there any other announcements that you intend to make in the interim or down the road?
No, at this point in time, the only thing that I probably will be doing is trying to stop the spending on the project at this point in time. We'll see if we're successful in that. I don't think we should be making any investments of this nature in election year. I don't think that is responsible. So I will be trying to get that stopped.
Going to be an interesting spring and summer for you, Bill. I certainly appreciate you taking the time to do this, and would like to do a follow-up down the road. And of course, there's going to be all kinds of reaction to not only this podcast, but other announcements that are coming out. I mean, the media has got their information out there, and people are just dying to know how you are going to make this work. But I'm glad you were able to do that. And it's the Rick Wyman Show. We always get the hot guests on the hot topics, Bill, and I certainly appreciate it. I mean, we go back several years as a former resident of Middle Lake. Now I'm in Deb McIntosh's ward, so that's another story in itself. But I certainly appreciate you taking the time to do this, Bill, and good luck with everything, and thanks for dropping by this morning.
Thank you very much, Rick. I appreciate it, and reach out to me anytime. I'm more than happy to sit down and explain things to the public. I want them to fully understand everything. I don't want any misconceptions regarding the 1.5 special tax levy. Remember, we've already went out, we borrowed the $90 million. We've got 60 plus million left. We still have to go out and borrow another 135 million in order to just move forward with the event center. And then we have to look at repaying that debt. And that would be then through the 1.5 special capital levy. So
lots of numbers, Bill. Lots of numbers. A lot of information for people to consider. I guess really, when you think about it, John Lindsay and Tom Price must be big fans of you right now.
To be honest with you, I really don't know.
Okay, because they've been advocating for months, for years, that they don't want to see a new arena. And John, I know, is a big fan of improving the roads.
Yes. So I think everybody in Sudbury is a big fan of improving our roads. So we have to really focus on that. We got to focus on our biggest asset, and that's our roads.
So Bill, one more question in regards to the roads, and I've been thinking about this. We have such an extensive area to clean, to repair, to pave. 130 million. Is that nearly enough?
No.
But that's you consider that a step in the right direction.
Yes. We have to narrow the gap because that's getting away on us. So we've got to narrow that gap moving forward.
Okay. Bill, thanks for your time. And again, good luck with the campaign. We'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Have a great day. Bye.
Many thanks to my special guest for today, Councillor Bill Leduc. He wants the new arena project put on hold and eliminated. And he wants to use that money, at least he's talking $130 million, to be invested into local roads in and around Greater Sudbury. We still haven't come up with a situation to the parking problem in Sudbury, downtown Sudbury. Every time you go see a Wolves game or a Five game, we'll have to deal with that at the further Rick Wyman Show, because I'd love to get the ear of someone from the city to talk to us about the parking problem downtown. Until we meet next time, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, like, tell your mother. Yeah, moms are very important when it comes to the Rick Wyman Show. We'll be back next time with more on the Rick Wyman Show.